late that the receptionist had left, everyone else had left, it was just me hanging on like, I'm not going, and you're gonna see me. Literally, I was like, oh, I'm not leaving. I've been here this long, I need to see someone. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So I haven't done one of these in a while, which is why I'm wanting to do it. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I have lupus SLE. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, and you can have like discoid lupus or lupus SLE. Discoid just affects your skin. SLE affects every organ in your body, which is the one I have, so yay. But I just like to give that little breakdown because you might have found this video not because you're a subscriber of mine, but because you're just looking for help to do with lupus. So I'm trying to be informative. But so this is my little update. I'm annoyed at myself because some of these updates that I want to give you guys and want to document for myself were quite far away, and so I wish I'd filmed this sooner, but I was holding out because I have another appointment on the 28th at a sleep study clinic, which I thought I was going to have the sleep study done, but it's just the initial assessment. So I figured, you know what, I'll film this now because not much will happen at the initial assessment other than me just telling them my symptoms. And then I can do another one because God knows how long I'll wait for the actual appointment to go and actually have the sleep study. So I'm doing it now. It's a long-winded way of saying I wish I'd done it sooner, but I'm doing it now. So yeah, a few of these things I'm annoyed because they're not as fresh in my brain. Maybe I'll start doing lupus videos where I just literally film myself after each appointment and then compile it into one video, because then everything will be fresh in my brain. Maybe that's what I'll do. If you are a subscriber or if you just watch a lot of my lupus videos, you'll know that I'm very open about my lupus and all what that entails. And a few of the things that I've been focused on recently, just because of that's when I've got my appointments for these things, have been gastro problems, sleep problems, and dermatology stuff. Those have been the appointments that I've had most recently, and those have been the problems that we've had to be dealing with recently. So yeah, I don't really know where to start. I can't remember what came first. It doesn't really matter what came first. Let's start with my gastro problems. So I have had different gastro problems since I was a teenager. I remember my mum taking me to the doctors when I was a teenager because she was like, you just don't ever go to the toilet. And I was like, no I don't, I just don't need to, but I just don't need to go. And she took me to the doctor, and the doctor at the time said, oh, you know, so long as that's what's always happened, then that's normal for her, so that's fine. Which isn't necessarily true. But basically I just don't ever go to the toilet. I'm like severely constipated, which obviously gives me like a lot of stomach problems, a lot of stomach pain, a lot of discomfort. It's like my body doesn't know how to process food and go to the toilet. Like my body can't do it. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but I really struggle to go to the toilet basically, which is very painful, very, very uncomfortable. It messes up everything to do with food and eating for me. It's quite a hard problem to have for your mental health for that reason, that it like really, because it makes you, like it makes me not want to eat because I know that then I'm going to be backed up and it's going to be painful. It's a mess. But I've had those problems literally for 10 years, and I've always fought, as in fought, to get referred to a specialist, and no one's ever wanted to. All my doctors have always been like, no, just take more laxatives. So I've literally been on laxatives for years and finally found a laxative that works for me, but I've been on it for 2 or 3 years straight now, sometimes having to take 8 sachets a day, and Now I'm repulsed by them. So for a long time now, for the last few months, I haven't taken them because the taste makes me feel sick. It's all psychological, and the taste of it reminds me of like I'm either gonna need to go to the toilet right now or have an accident, or I'm going to be in just agony because even though I've taken loads and now I'm filled with water and filled with laxatives and I'm incredibly bloated, I still can't go. So it's just a mess, and so now I think that's what puts me off taking them, because I know all that's gonna happen and they just taste grim. They just taste disgusting. It says that it's fruit flavoured. It is not. It's not. So anyway, I finally convinced my GP to get me referred to a gastro specialist back in January, and I've had my appointment cancelled 4 times with the specialist. It just kept getting cancelled, and then I finally got an appointment. Actually, it should be in my phone. I should have done this to find out the order. So I finally got an appointment in September. And let me just tell you about this experience with the gastro people. So I got to the hospital for my appointment. I waited and waited and waited. Then was told the doctor's gone to a different hospital. We don't know when he'll be back, and there's no one else that can see you. So really, it's up to you whether you want to carry on and wait. We don't know how long that could be. We don't know if you'll even end up getting seen today, or you can leave and rebook an appointment, but again, we don't know when that'll be for. And I was desperate, I can't even explain. And I think my stomach was so bad that day that that's what spurred me on to stay. I think if it weren't so bad, I probably would have left, but I was sitting there in so much pain that I was just like, no, I'm waiting. I ended up waiting 3 hours. I ended up not seeing my doctor but seeing a different one, and he was awful. It's no secret that I have come across some absolute trolls of doctors. I seem to get the lot. I seem to just get all the worst doctors in the world. He was one of them. So by this point, my boyfriend was with me, and I always take my boyfriend or someone in with me just because when I'm in a flare-up, I get this lupus brain fog where I can't really take in much information, and in my appointments I'm always given so much information, so I need someone there with me to pick up on things that I don't pick up on, and also to remember things that I won't remember. And you've got to remember, I'm at a different hospital every other week for a different problem every other week, so it's a lot to keep on top of. So it's just good for me to have someone with me. But I also need my prescription that day. So Ben had said, I'll go and get your prescription because it's going to close. The pharmacy's going to close where they've already got it, but I've got to go pick it up. So I'll go and do that, and just text me updates of if you're going in, if you're getting seen, if you're getting sent away. By this point, it was so late that the receptionist had left, everyone else had left. It was just me hanging on I'm not going, but you're gonna see me. Literally, I was like, I'm not leaving. I've been here this long, I need to see someone. So I went in on my own, and the doctor was a man. I'd say he was in his 50s or 60s, quite old. Gone into this appointment telling myself that I was going to refuse to be weighed because of the problems that I've previously had with doctors and my weight, and basically it's hard to explain, because especially if you're thin and you've always been thin and able-bodied, then you won't get this at all. But doctors and hospitals and nurses, there's just this really awful fat-phobic way of dealing with people, and basically they just want to pin everything on your weight. They want to say everything's because you're fat, everything will be solved if you lose weight, and they don't take you seriously. And it's really frustrating for me, and it's good in the way that I can always say this to them and it's on file, but I've had the same problems when I was a size 8 as I do now. So it's literally no different. It's got no worse, nothing's changed. So that's not relevant. Like, and also what really irks me is that back when I was a size 8 and literally living off junk food, like anyone that knows me knows I love junk food, and when I was a size 8 I literally lived off junk food. Pizza and chocolate was basically all I ate 24/7. I just had a fast metabolism and exercised a lot. Like, I just loved working out. I was very active, I had active jobs. Anyway, and if you don't know my like history with my weight gain, no one knows what happened. I literally, in the space of 3 months, doubled in size whilst I was on an NHS diet. So there's some irony for you. And also taking NHS prescribed weight loss pills that they basically forced me to take, which now I do not take and I refuse. But yeah, it just was awful basically. When I got in there, I just felt so uncomfortable and weak, and I just was weighed. I let them weigh me, and shock, surprise, eyes rolling back into my head, he just wanted to pin everything on my weight. He was so rushed off his feet, I guess because the other doctor had gone and he had to take over. That's all he wanted to talk about. And he was so rushed, and I could just tell he weren't listening. I could tell he weren't taking anything in. He literally only cared about, he just kept talking about my weight and about what I eat. Also, that's what I was going to say about me eating junk food when I was size 8. No one ever used to ask me what I ate. No one ever used to ask me what my diet was like, what I ate, even with all the stomach problems. And now it's the first thing they ask. Also, it's the wording, like, and because it happened so quickly, my weight change. Like, I went to one appointment, and then in my next appointment I was treated completely differently, and then I've been treated that way ever since. And I'm laughing now, it's actually not funny, it's despicable. But now it's, how much do you drink? How much do you smoke? When was the last time you exercised? Whereas when I was thin, it was like, have you ever smoked? Have you ever drank? How often do you exercise? All these assumptions of that, like, I was healthy and they didn't even need to ask about what I was eating because that was irrelevant. But now, that's literally all they care about. And I eat better now in terms of like variety of food and more veg and fruit and all the rest of it now than I ever have. Because I'm more concerned about my health than I've ever been. So it's all BS. You know I feel that way anyway. But yeah, that's all he cared about. He just kept asking me about it, and I kept saying to him, no, you don't understand. I've not always been this size. You know, I've always been actually slim and really fit, and had the exact same problems. Nothing's changed. This is what annoys me, is that no one wanted to talk about that at the time. But I was on 8 steroids a day, so like, is it any surprise? For months, on and off, I was on 8 steroids a day because of my lupus. So, is it any surprise I put on weight? Anyway, that's all he cared about. I could tell he weren't listening. He got me to lay down so he could press on my stomach, which they always do when you go in with stomach problems, toilet problems. I felt uncomfortable, like straight away, as soon as I lifted up my top. I just felt like he was looking at me weird. I just felt like I just got a bad vibe. And then I get the letter through in the post as the report of of that appointment. And yeah, he just basically wrote all about my weight, my BMI, and my stretch marks. If anyone can tell me what stretch marks have got to do with stomach pain or constipation or lupus or anything other than the way it looks, like, what the I can't. He literally wrote a whole paragraph about how I had stretch marks on my stomach. Shocking. I'd literally told you that I'd like doubled in size in 3 months. Like, what do you expect? You're a doctor. Hello. Do you not know how the body works? Like, it's so unbelievable. Trust me, I wasn't laughing. Actually, in fact, when I got that letter, I cried and was furious. And I am making a formal complaint. But yes, he wrote a paragraph about my stretch marks, a paragraph about Ben's health. Yeah, my boyfriend, who wasn't even in the appointment, which is only because he said to me in the appointment that he was going to refer me for a colonoscopy, which I've never had done before. So he was like, have you heard of that? Do you know what it is? And I said, Yes, I do, because my boyfriend has a condition, and so he's had to have it before, and I took him there. Not, you know, I weren't in there when they were doing it, but I took him to the appointment. I read all the information that he got given, so yeah, I know what it is. And he wrote all about my boyfriend's condition in the letter. Like, what has that got to do with the price of fish? I don't understand. Oh. And then the last paragraph said she has Crohn's disease. That's definitely what she's got. We need to like see into that as a matter of an emergency, which freaked me out because he never mentioned that to me. And like, hello, if you think I have a second disease, you should probably tell me, rather than writing in a letter to my doctor that you know I'm going to get a copy of. So I freaked out. But my boyfriend has ulcerative colitis, which is very much like Crohn's, and he was like, 100% you do not have Crohn's, because Crohn's has the opposite problems to you, opposite symptoms. And he made me Google it, and he was right. Nothing correlated, so it just confirmed what I thought, which was that the doctor didn't listen to a word I was saying, and just made up his own conclusions based on my weight. Then I went for the colonoscopy. The colonoscopy was problematic in many ways. So I turn up, I go in, I'd already known what to expect because Ben had told me, and this really frustrates me. I was offered, so they offer you to be sedated, like under anaesthetic. They offer you gas and air, muscle relaxants, like loads of different things to make it easier for you, because they say it can be painful, it can be uncomfortable. Different people find it, you know, harder than others or easier than others. So they offer it to you all, and I'd already said beforehand I had to fill out a form, and I already said I didn't want anything. Like, I know my body, I know my pain threshold, I know what I can and can't withstand. I'm very, very in tune with myself, more so than anyone else I've ever met. I know when something's wrong, I know when something's not right, or when something is okay, and I just knew I weren't going to need anything. I said, no, it's fine, I don't want anything. I was basically forced to have it. When I got there, the two nurses were like, oh, we're going to put the line in your hand now. And I said, what for? And she was like, for sedation. I said, I don't want it. I don't need it. Everyone has to have it, everyone has to have it. And I know that's a lie because my boyfriend refused it because he had to go to work later on that night. So, and if he had been sedated, he wouldn't have been able to go into his shift because of what he does for work. So he refused it. So I know, and he didn't get a line put in his hand. This is also just the difference between how men and women get treated. Just putting it out there. But they were like, no, you'll definitely need it, it's painful. And I was like, no I won't, I'm in pain every day, like, I'll be fine, I'd rather not have it. And she literally just put it in my hand as we were talking. Like, I was like, well, that's done now, isn't it? So what can I do about that? Brilliant, thanks. Also, she was really bad at it and like dug it in different places, made me bleed loads, made me bruise loads. Anyway, so she did it. She put the line in, not the sedation, obviously. Anyway, we go into the colonoscopy. You lay down, and then she goes, so that's where we'll put the sedation and the muscle relaxants for your hand, but the gas and air is here. This is how you use it. And I went, yeah, okay. And she was like, no, you need to show us that you know how to use it. And I went, yeah, you just breathe into the thing. And I'm like, I know how to use it. You just showed me, I know how to use it. And she was like, yeah, no, you need to show me. And I was like, hold it. She made me hold it. And I was like, ooh, like this. I didn't breathe it in, just like put it to my face. And went, no, like. And she, again, pushed it into my face and was like, breathe in. And I mean, I barely breathed in, so it didn't have any effect at all. Gas and air, wears off in like a second. So anyway, I basically didn't have any, but I just did not like the fact that these nurses kept forcing things on me. Like, I've told you I don't want it. It says in all the information packs that it's up to me. Let me decide, it's my body. Like, I can't stand that. They were just forceful. Also, like, hello, when you're laying on a table with a tube up your arse, like, I'm not in the position to fight this bitch. Anyway, so I had the colonoscopy, and then as I said, I was absolutely fine. So your colon is like this shaped, like that. So it goes up and round and down. And the whole time, the doctor that was doing it, surgeon, doctor, was like, either I'm really good at this or you're really brave. And I was like, I'm really brave. Which we were laughing about. But he was like, I've never got round someone so quickly. Like normally it's too painful and too uncomfortable. And I was like, I'm fine. I have a really high pain threshold. Like, I don't know why people just don't listen to me. He got it all the way around, and then he looked around, and then he was like, sorry, what am I looking for? And I didn't know if he was saying it to me or to the nurse. So I said, oh, and then he went, oh no, sorry, and like pointed to the nurse. So I thought, okay, he's asking the nurse. And the nurse said Crohn's. And I was like, and he goes, well, I can definitely see no Crohn's. And I said, no, it's not Crohn's. And he said, what, like diarrhea? Have you had diarrhea? Have you had this? And I was like, the absolute opposite. Like I can't go to the toilet, like nothing. The absolute opposite. So it just again confirmed to me that the doctor hadn't listened to a word I said, and he was like, oh, that's not the information I had passed on. I had passed on that I was looking for these symptoms. So then he said, okay, so just to be thorough, and now because I'm confused about all of this, I'm going to take biopsies. So they like pinch a bit of your colon off and take it and test it. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And again, it was fine. Did that. I think he took 10 biopsies. And then I, did all the rest and recovered and left and got the information that you leave with. And then by now I've already got the letter, and it said that, the letter literally said she doesn't have Crohn's. And Ben was like, well, I told you that. And I was like, well. And it said that the biopsies came back normal, but that one of the levels of something, all the scientific terms that I don't understand, one of the levels of something was off. So basically I've got another checkup coming up, but I still haven't got the letter. I mean, I waited literally 9 months for the last one, so let's not hold our breath on that. But it went okay, and you know what, since then, because before the colonoscopy you have to drink Movaprep, it's literally like drinking vomit. You have to drink 2 litres of it. I've never known anything like it. I kept throwing it up because I could not stand the taste. It was like if you ate a piece of fruit that was absolutely smothered in salt. It was just disgusting. So I vomited a couple of times the day before, and you couldn't eat for 24 hours before. But because of that, because of being totally cleared out by those drinks, like I was literally on the loo for like 4 hours straight. Because they clear you out. Since then, I've actually been finding it easy to go to the toilet. So maybe I just need like a colonic. But I've said that to my doctor a million times, and no one ever tells me anything. So we'll just wait and see, but I'm just annoyed, and I am going to be making complaints. I shouldn't be forced into doing things that are supposedly up for me to decide, and he wasn't. It's not like, I would totally understand, by the way, if the doctor was like, I need you to take the muscle relaxing because I can't get round, or I need you to take the gas and air because you're not relaxed enough, or whatever. That would be different, but he was fine, we were all fine, so I'm annoyed about that, and I'm annoyed about this fat phobic doctor that literally just wanted to write about my weight and my stretch marks. I still don't understand what my stretch marks have to do with anything.